Welcome to Hampton Roads Perspectives, a public service of Odyssey. Weekly conversations about events and people making a difference in our community.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another installment of Hampton Roads Perspectives. I'm Dale Murray. Lupus is sometimes considered an invisible illness because the symptoms can be hard for others to recognize. While everything may appear normal from the outside, there's a war going on within. Around 1.5 million Americans have lupus. That's according to the Lupus Foundation of America. Yet unfortunately, African American women are more likely to develop it, and severely at a younger age than their counterparts. 1 in 250 are affected by the disease. Lupus is also more common in Hispanic, Asian, and Native American women. Joining me now in the studio is Chastity Corbett, founder of the nonprofit The Social Butterfly Foundation. Chastity is on a mission to help those suffering with lupus and fibromyalgia, along with their families and caregivers. Also here this morning is the Honorable Jackie Glass. Delegate Glass represents the 93rd District of Norfolk in the Virginia House of Delegates. Delegate Glass is a champion for the cause and a fibro warrior. Good morning to you both, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the privilege of your time. Chastity, let's start with you. Talk to our audience about lupus, what it is, how is it treated, and more importantly, is there a cure?
There's no cure. Lupus is an autoimmune illness in which, to put it in layman terms, your body attacks itself. Your body has natural pathogens that can usually tell the good from the bad, but in our bodies, everything's fair game, so it just attacks everything. Lupus can affect any organ, and your skin is an organ. So a lot of people have issues with their skin. Some will have what they call a butterfly rash that goes across the bridge of your nose and shaped like a butterfly in your face. But everyone's different. I didn't get that butterfly rash. I just had a rash on my arm. It could affect your brain, your blood. Your kidneys is one that most people have affected. Your heart, just about anything is fair game with lupus. So your body attacks itself. Yeah.
You say there's no cure. Has there been any recent developments in finding a cure? Or?
No. They have come up with new medications.
Okay.
Before 2011, the only medication they would primarily give lupus patients was Plaquenil, which is a drug that used to treat malaria, so it was real antiquated. In 2011, they came out with Benlysta, which is an infusion. And since then, they've changed the infusion to the point where you could give yourself a shot of Benlysta. Last year, they came out with a new medication called Sefnello that's supposed to help with your lupus activity. So they come out with drugs, but no cure.
Yeah. When and how were you diagnosed with lupus?
I was diagnosed on July 5th, 2005. I had just received my master's degree from Norfolk State University in criminal justice. And I thought I just had a rash on my arm because, contact dermatitis or something like that. But when I went to the doctor and they kept giving me topical ointments to put on, it didn't work. He said, go to your dermatologist. I went to my dermatologist and he looked at it and said, I got an idea what this is. And he did a skin biopsy on me right then and there. And a week later, he came back and said, you have lupus. Didn't really explain to me too well what lupus was, just told me that I have to be careful in the sun, make sure I wear my sunblock. If I can, get UV protective clothing, avoid the heat and things of that nature because it would make me rash out. And he thought at that time I just had discoid lupus, which is the type of lupus that only affects your skin. I was given Plaquenil. Now, all this was in July. By the time November rolled around, I had lost a lot of weight, wasn't feeling good, couldn't keep food in. I started developing floaters in my eyes. I went blind in my left eye for like 5 minutes. Then I started having chest pains real bad, went to my family practice doctor, because at that point I hadn't obtained a really good rheumatologist that could help me through the process. The first rheumatologist He got his degree in 1973. That's the year I was born. Everything in his office was just antiquated. The other rheumatologist I had, it was more like he wasn't really listening to my issues and my concerns, and he wasn't really telling me other thing other than take this pill. So that January, I went back to my family practice doctor, like, I'm having chest pains, it hurts when I lay down, it hurts to breathe, and he sent me to the emergency room. That's when I found out I had pneumonia and a pulmonary embolism at the same time.
As a result of the lupus.
Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks later, I went back in the hospital again, and I had meningitis and a mild stroke. Get out the hospital from that, go back in, and had a major epilepsy attack. Now, by that time, they realized you don't have just discoid lupus, you have systemic lupus. So my body was attacking itself. It was attacking my blood, my brain, and the joint pains. So I was just thankful because in the midst of those hospital visits, I actually met the rheumatologist, which I have now. I call him my daddy doc, who pretty much saved my life and knew what to do. So he treated the meningitis and the mild stroke right away. And I tell him to this day, you saved my life.
Yeah.
I'm here because of you. And he actually takes the time and listen to me and try to figure out what's going on with my body. And that's one crucial thing. You have to have a good rheumatologist that doesn't just come in, you get 10 minutes, and then they're gone. Someone actually takes the time and listen to you.
Why did it take so long to diagnose? Were you born with lupus? Did you have symptoms as a child, as you recall, or this has come up on you?
Thinking back, I remember in high school I used to get sick all the time.
Okay.
But you don't think anything of that,
right,
you know. But it could be genetic. I found out that my great-grandmother, she had lupus when she passed away. But, people didn't talk about stuff like that back then. You didn't really have a name for it.
They don't talk about it now.
Yeah, they really don't.
I just found out Tony Braxton is living with lupus.
Yes.
Nick Cannon.
Yes.
And there's some other entertainers, and they don't talk about it. Tony was told not to talk about it because the fans didn't want to be around, didn't want to support anybody who was sick. And it's some talk about insurance coverage that is difficult to get insurance.
It is. It's really hard for me now to even get. And that's something I wish they would just change up, the life insurance policies, because they'll look at the medications that you've taken.
Yeah.
They'll look and see, oh, you've been on chemotherapy 3 times. And they do not want to cover you. I'm like, it's like they already got you boxed up and sent away.
Yeah.
We don't want to cover you at all.
Financial risk.
Yeah.
So how do we change that?
That's a good question. Advocating and raising awareness for the illness is one thing. To living with any kind of chronic illness does not have to be a life sentence. You could still live a healthy life with it. So these insurance companies need to stop looking at it as if that is our life sentence, because we need coverage too. I guess we would probably need to speak to our legislative representatives and see if there's anything they can do to make it so that we can get this coverage. And then when you give us the coverage, don't make the premium rate so ridiculously high that it's unaffordable. Because when you're living with a chronic illness, you're going to specialists, not just regular doctors.
Right,
you're going to specialists all the time, and it's costly to cover the medical appointments, the prescriptions. It's ridiculous. That's the only thing I could come up with right now. It's really ridiculous, all the things we go through. And then people just look at you and say, but you don't look sick.
Yeah.
You look fine.
Delegate Glass, let's bring you in here. I understand you're living with fibro.
I am.
Yeah. Talk to us about that disease and how it impacts your quality of life.
So fibromyalgia, the only way to explain it is what it is. It's widespread pain all over your body. I want to say for no rhyme or reason, because that's what it feels. That's what it feels like. But it is I guess I hate saying disease. it is something that, 2% of the United States population lives with, and probably 1 in 20 people across the world deal with this invisible disease, because it's very different. You couldn't look at a person and say, oh, they might have fibromyalgia.
I'm looking at you both, and you look both bright and cheerful and
yeah, Dale, it's good days and bad days, right? Like, it really is. Living with it's a guessing game. I don't know what the night is going to look like. I don't know what could trigger the pain, and have done the work. I mean, it's work. It's both mental and physical work. But when it decides that it wants to be in charge, it is completely in charge. And because I think we're able to, many people with fibro are able to have good days. I think it's very difficult for people to truly understand what it looks like to have a bad day, because I can't get out of bed. Like, there's no, there is no life for the days that it's at its worst. And then just on a daily basis, I wear tennis shoes all the time. And initially in the legislature, people were very critical, right? Like, very, like, you seem unintelligent and all these different things because I showed up in tennis shoes.
Dress code around here.
Yeah. Well, if they had one, I would have read it, because I'm an instruction reader. Okay. And I make phone calls and ask questions. I said, this is the way I'm going to show up. And I never felt like it was my responsibility to tell them that, hey, you know what? I'm just trying to stay healthy. Like, this is one means that helps me show up every day. But I think to Chastity's point is, I should talk about it more. I probably should talk about it more, but it also sometimes feels very private.
Yeah.
Like, there's a deep sense of weakness and insecurity sometimes that comes with living with fibromyalgia.
You mentioned the pain. I understand that fibro pain is not the same in everyone with their disorder. With the disorder, is yours present 24/7, every single second, or?
No. So I have constant pain in my legs, always. Like, there's always a level of pain, even if it's like a 2. You know how you go to the doctor and they say, tell me on a scale.
1 to 10. I hate that question.
I'm like, today or yesterday?
Pain is relative. Right. Pain is relative.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, through what I learned through childbirth is that I have a very high tolerance for pain, right? Like, the nurse is like, do you feel that? I said, I do not.
Yeah.
She's like, but we see that you are, and that may be because at the time I'm saying that particular pregnancy, I was on the road to being diagnosed. But for me, it's not a 24/7, a 10 pain.
Yeah.
It is knowing that I consistently have some level of pain that I'm dealing with. Like, right, if I were to tell you, if you asked me if I'm in pain right now, I'm like, yes, I am. But I do take really deep breaths, and I manage and I focus and I meditate. Like, life is a form of meditation for me, essentially. But the pain in my legs and in my back and sometimes my neck and it's transitioned to like complex migraines too that show up sometimes when my fibromyalgia. And that's when I say complex migraines, I have migraines that appear as strokes. They think that I have a stroke and I'm not actually having a stroke. It's just my body doing what it does.
How is fibro treated?
Several different ways. There's ways to medicate. And I heard Chastity say, like, just take the medication. There's that. And I'm going to be really candid is I have struggled with finding really good treatment. Like, my journey started in the military, in a place where, quite frankly, people didn't believe that fibromyalgia was a thing. They thought it was psychosomatic. And I was even told, like, this is in your head. This is in your head. With the Butterfly Association, that what they're doing of support, that I believe that support groups are a form of treatment, are also a form of treatment. Sometimes I get massages and try to do, I've seriously learned how to truly meditate and how to be still, but getting treated, it's almost like reconciling with your ability to like live, like to truly live. Like, I'm 40 years old and I've been dealing with this since I was 20 or my early 20s. And it has been difficult to truly, personally, I'm just saying for me personally, seek a pathway for true treatment, because almost everything that I get truly limits my ability to show up as who I want to be. The medication makes you feel like you're a fish out of water, right? Like, so then that, or I was on narcotics at a point in time. And so then there's the worry of like, should I really be taking a narcotic every 6 hours just to not be in pain? So it was a choice, right? A negotiation with self of, do I deal with and manage or pain management? I've been to actually inpatient pain management. Do I have to negotiate with, do I live with the pain, or do I live with a lot less pain, but you don't get to really live? You don't, there's no, your quality of life. Yeah, is significantly less. Yeah.
Does lupus and fibro affect children as well?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The youngest child that came to Social Butterflies Foundation, she was 11 years old.
Wow.
And, we've have teenagers that have had hip replacements, or they miss school. And that's something else I really want to dive into next year. Focus on going into the schools to educate the teachers and the guidance counselors and the principals, because we've had young survivors whose teachers think they're just faking. Mm. You just calling out, you just missing work, you just,
That's real. That's real.
They're not faking. If there are any teachers out there, pay attention. Your students aren't faking when they tell you they have fibromyalgia, or they tell you they have lupus.
Or sickle cell.
Exactly.
I talk with people with sickle cell.
They're not faking. Take the time to get to learn about the illness so that you can better help them and make sure that they can succeed educationally.
You mentioned your nonprofit, Social Butterfly. How long has it been in existence?
October 5th will make 6 years.
6 years. Yeah. I know this isn't the first time you've been here, and every year or every so often you come by, it's growing and growing, and you're doing other things to increase awareness and raise funds for much needed awareness and support. And you created, I take it, because of your condition, and you wanted to raise awareness and help people.
Yeah, we needed to fill that gap. A lot of the larger organizations, they focus solely on research. We still don't have a cure, but you gave us a new drug. Research, but people need to live their lives now. They need help with their prescriptions. They need help with the doctor bills. If you owe a doctor bill and you need to be seen, you won't get seen until you pay that bill. They need help with things like their utilities.
Yeah.
Their children want to go to college. We have a college scholarship that we offer each year, but that dream of going to college seems further away when mom and dad, they're swamped with all these medical bills.
Yeah. And they have to put food on the table.
And they got to eat.
And Chassie has said this a couple times, the ability to keep stable employment is just, it is.
I got a personal story. I was at a radio station years back, and there was a young lady says, I have lupus, and I'd never heard of lupus. And she shared with me that the HR department was on her back because they thought she was just taking time off. And like you said, I'd see her at work, and she looked fine and healthy and vibrant. And, eventually she wasn't there anymore. So.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard. And if I could be so candid, I am just now in the process on the military side of things trying to get the support that I need, because I had a rheumatoid arthritis, a rheumatologist tell me to my face, I don't believe in this. I just don't believe in it during the time. And so it makes it difficult to explain to an employer, sometimes even to my spouse, to understand that this is real. And I can't even make a good living. I have 3 part-time jobs right now, literally. Yeah, just trying to be able to manage both my ailments and my ability to have, or my desire to be able to financially give myself some new sneakers if I want to with my own money. With my own money. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah. Chastity, you mentioned your foundation raising money to help kids go to school. So you support the family. Your foundation supports the family and survivors.
The family goes through it with you.
Yeah. So talk to us about some of the things families go through and what the Butterfly Foundation is doing to support families and caregivers.
Gosh, just trying to understand, because you don't really have a clear understanding of it unless you're going through it yourself. But the family sees what you're going through, and sometimes you aren't able to explain what you're feeling.
Or accept.
That's true.
And I say that as a personal experience. I had a brother who passed away from sickle cell, and for years I had no idea what he was going through. Mm-hmm. And I'm saddened by that, and I'm a bit embarrassed about it, because, since I've become an adult, I have a better grasp of what he was going through. And there's just things that we didn't talk about, but, Michael was in the hospital. He'd be in and out, and he'd come in just like he was live, vibrant, and then have these times when, boop, he's in the intensive care unit. So
they just tank, and there's no rhyme or reason. You can't explain it, and the family, they see all this. They're at the hospital at your bedside. Yeah. They hear, but you don't want people to get numb to it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so used to you going in and out the hospital. I ain't worried about it. You're gonna bounce back. Yeah. You strong. Strong people need help too. We need support too. It's not that we're not doing things because we don't want to. Trust, we want to. It's just our body doesn't want to allow us to do certain things at any given time. So with Social Butterflies, we do include the family and caregivers with our support, because we know they're going through it too. Their path may be different, but they're definitely going through it with them. So we have the emergency financial assistance. We got the support groups for the youth and the adults. We have the college scholarships. We have our care program, which basically we celebrate those milestones with you. And when you're going through, we're going through with you. So you're not alone. We say butterflies don't let each other fly. No. You don't see butterflies flying by themselves. And we have our summit and health fairs, so we could bring the medical community and different community resources together so that everybody can learn what's out there for them for assistance.
And you got a big butterfly walk for lupus and fibro coming up. Talk to our audience about that.
This walk is going to be historical. It's going to be really special.
Yeah, so Delegate Jackie Glass is
she's
the
there.
Grand Marshal.
Yeah, she's our Grand Marshal. You're going to be in a historical walk. So what makes this walk special is because, remember how I was telling you about the sun earlier?
Yes,
how it affects us?
Yeah.
Well, we're walking indoors in air conditioning.
Oh.
So, yeah, I said, hold on, we don't have to do what everybody else do.
That's right.
This our own thing.
I know that's right.
We got our own thing.
Yeah.
So we're walking indoors at Boo Williams Sportsplex on Saturday, August 3rd from 1 to 4. Doors open at noon. And the air conditioning, we'll still have all the fun activities we have for family reunion, like the kids' corner. We'll have vendors. We have community resources. And we got Delegate Jackie Glass.
Yay.
as our Grand Marshal. We have, everyone calls him Tommy from All the Queen's Men. His name is O'Shea Russell. He's a Hampton native. He's going to be one of our special guest hosts, along with Ambi Renee.
Will it be music?
We always going to have music. You can't have family reunion not have music.
Last time you had the folks out there working out.
Yeah.
I said, okay, we working out and we walking.
That's the warm up. You gotta warm those joints up. This year we have a mother-daughter duo, Marquita Audrey and her daughter Jordan. That's gonna be doing a warm up for us.
Yeah.
We have Kimberly Johnson. She's gonna be doing our opening devotion, and we have Vanessa Daniels who's gonna lead us in the song. So we even have a veteran that we're going to present our Golden Honoree Award to, Mr. Ross. He's up in age, but he's suffering from lupus and been going through some things back and forth with the VA, just so he could get the proper treatment. So we want to recognize him and let him know we're here, we got your back.
Yeah, and that's Saturday, August 1st.
August 3rd.
I'm sorry?
Saturday, August 3rd.
August 3rd The Boo Williams Sportsplex.
In Hampton. It's at 5 Armistead Parkway.
Okay. And doors open at?
Doors open at noon.
Okay.
The walk is going to be from 1 to 4. We're going to have plenty of activities, plenty of vendors, and we have some great sponsors. So, of course, we got the new Sheriff Gabe Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
He's a sponsor. He sponsors us every year. He has a personal connection to lupus. We have Town Bank. We have Velocity Clinical Research. We have Fulton Bank. I know I'm going to forget somebody. Please don't charge it to my heart. Brain fog is real.
Okay.
But we're thankful for all of our
Absolutely.
wonderful sponsors and vendors that's coming to help make this possible and just supporting the cause.
Does one have to pre-register to attend?
You do need to register. You could go to butterflywalkforlupusandfibro.org, butterflywalkforlupusandfibro.org. Registration is $35 donation, but it includes your walk shirt. And it's worth it. It's going towards a good cause.
Absolutely. That's about all the time we have here. But before we wrap things up, the last time you were talking about a license plate.
Yeah, we're still working on our license plates.
Okay.
You have to get 450 pre-orders of the plate before it could go before the General Assembly in January. And the license plate registration is the same amount that you would pay for your normal plates, $25 for non-personalized, $35 for personalized. Right now, the lupus plate, we need about 300, a little over 300 more. The fibromyalgia plate, we need about 400 more. And there's a lot of fibro warriors out there. It'll be great just so that we can you drive along, you see somebody got a social, you're a butterfly,
Yeah.
That makes you feel like I'm not alone. There's more of us out here. Not just that, it'd be the state helping to raise awareness for these two invisible illnesses that need to be seen and understood. And once the plate goes through and DMV processes it, they'll make it available on their website and inside so that people can order their specialty plates. And then the organization will get a donation of $15 per plate that's sold through DMV. That could pour back into the lupus and fibromyalgia community with the resources that we offer, such as the emergency financial assistance and college scholarships. So it's important if you're a lupus or a fibro warrior, or you have a family member that is, pre-order your plate. Don't wait until the plate's available. The plate may not get available if you don't pre-order. So we need you to pre-order so that we can meet the 450 requirements.
Okay, so besides ordering the plates, coming out to the Boo Williams Lupus Walk, Butterfly Walk, what are the other ways our listeners can support?
You can support by helping to raise awareness and spread the word. Word of mouth is like the biggest way to get something out. You can support by coming to some of our other events. You can support by volunteering. We do have board member opportunities available. You can always go to our website, socialbutterfliesfoundation.org, and keep track of what we're doing. Follow us on social media. We're really family oriented, so it's always going to be something that you could do. Any bit helps more than nothing at all.
All right. Once again, give me your social media contacts for anyone who's listening and would like to become more involved.
Social Butterflies Foundation on Facebook, Instagram. We are on LinkedIn. They're trying to get me on all these social media sites. And you can always go to our website, socialbutterfliesfoundation.org.
Right. Any last thoughts?
We're not alone. There's other survivors out there. And it's just important for people to understand what's going on with the illness. Don't feel like you shouldn't say anything or you're in hiding. Reveal yourself. Take that mask off. Be seen. That's the only way we're going to get the support that we need. We have to talk about it.
Delegate Glass, any final thoughts from you?
I'll echo that. I know that's the hardest part, is to be seen.
Yeah.
It is not a form of weakness, it's a form of strength. And I encourage anyone that even remotely believes in helping and supporting people that they come out to the walk. It's how I got my family on board with pushing me to do what I probably should have been doing for years and getting help. So I hope to see everybody on August 3rd.
August 3rd. Ladies, thank you so much for the privilege of your time. Thanks for being here and sharing your story.
Gratitude.
Thank you so much.
My guest this morning has been Chastity Corbett, founder of the nonprofit The Social Butterfly Foundation. Also, the Honorable Jackie Glass. Delegate Glass represents the 93rd District of Norfolk, Virginia. Once again, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Gratitude.
This has been Hampton Roads Perspectives. If you would like to share information about an organization or event to be featured on a future program, please send us an email. The address is hrp@audacy.com or write to Odyssey, 236 Clearfield Avenue, Suite 206, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23462. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of its participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Odyssey Radio. Hampton Roads Perspectives is a public service of Odyssey.